I take it back. I think 23 was the hardest. I mentioned that 20 and 21 were the hardest part. I think more teams missed 23 than 21 or 20. Anyway, this is a fairly well disguised question about Akerlof's lemon law. So let's read through. So there are two types of houses, ones with solid foundations, ones with cracked foundations. Otherwise, the houses are the same. The ones with solid foundations are worth 200 grand. Those with cracked foundations are worth 180 grand. Sellers know which type of house they have, but buyers cannot detect whether a foundation has a crack. Suppose that 80% of the houses for sale would have a solid foundation. 20. So what they try to dupe you into doing is focusing on this expected value, which is 196,000. So buyers would expect that the value of a house would be 196,000. But the problem there is that if that's the case, buyers are only willing to pay 196,000 based on this expected value of the house given its probability of having a bad foundation. Well, then the problem here is that people that have a good house that value it at 200,000 would find themselves unable to get the 200,000. They could only get buyers to pay up to 196,000. So the people that have the homes with good foundations just don't bother selling their homes, and then the people with the homes with the cracked foundations, then 196,000 would be a lot higher than 180,000, so they'd be willing to sell. But the problem is what you see is that the only houses on sale are the ones with the cracked foundation, and buyers know the game too, so that the house price goes down to 180 rather than 200,000. This is why you'll have a wise uncle that tells you never buy a new car because a used car is a much better deal, and that isn't true in my experience. But the phenomenon that your wise uncle or maybe wise aunt is telling you about is that if you look in the one ads and find an ad for a Craigslist, obviously, if you find an ad for a car that was bought a month ago for $30,000, you're going to see that car advertised for a lot less money. And it's not because the car lost all that money just when you drive it off the lot. It's that anybody seeing that ad is going to think, well, what is wrong with that car that someone's selling it a month after they bought it? And, that's the problem, that if you had a car that was a valuable car with no problems, you wouldn't be selling it. And so cars are too complicated for most of us to be able to assess their value. You usually have to own a car for some months before you really realize whether it's a lemon or not. Anyway, so that's the problem, that because of this lemon law, Akerlof's lemon law, that only cars that of inferior quality are up for sale because the people that have the high valued cars don't want to part with them. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. There's a lot more to be said about the whole car buying game. I'm happy to talk about that another time.